Have you ever heard someone play a simple song on the piano, but it sounds incredibly rich and, well, just amazing? That's the magic of arranging. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that magic. We're diving deep into the core ideas from a masterclass to show you exactly how a simple melody gets turned into a sophisticated piece of music. And by the end, you'll have the toolkit to start doing it yourself. Okay, so here's the game plan. First, we'll get into the right mindset for arranging. Then, we'll grab a super simple tune and build it up step by step. We're going to learn how to paint with new chords, inject some style, connect all the dots like a pro, and finally see how all these tools work in a pop classic. It's going to be a fun journey from a blank page to a finished piece. First things first, let's get our heads in the right space. Because great arranging, it's not about memorizing a bunch of formulas. It's really about a creative, hands-on approach to music. I love this philosophy. You know, a lot of people get scared of music theory, thinking it's like a rigid math class with all these rules. But a great arranger? They see it more like shop class. You learn what all the parts of the engine do, not just to pass a test, but so you can actually take the whole car apart and put it back together in a new, more exciting way. That's what we're doing with music. So what are we actually doing when we arrange for solo piano? Well, we're taking the absolute skeleton of a song, its melody and basic chords, and we're giving it muscle and skin. We're making it ready for a real performance. This means adding things like intros and endings, changing up the texture, and even completely swapping out the original chords for something new. All right, enough theory, let's get our hands dirty. To really understand how to transform a piece of music, we need a simple starting point, a blank canvas that we can build on together. And here it is, good old Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And this is the most basic version you can imagine, using just 3 chords, the 1, the 4, and the 5. So in the key of C, that's just C, F, and G. We all know this sound, right? It's simple, it's familiar, and it's about to get a major upgrade. So the melody is set in stone. We can't change that. But how do we take this nursery rhyme and make it sound, interesting or emotional or even sophisticated? How do we make it sound like us? That's the big question we're going to answer right now. Our first and maybe most powerful tool is something called reharmonization. This is where we start painting with a brand new palette of chords right underneath that melody we already know. A really easy way into this world is with this idea of kissing cousins. These are just chords that are closely related because they share some of the same notes. Think about it. A C major chord has the notes C, E, and G. An A minor chord has A, C, and E. See? They share 2 notes. That means you can often just swap one for the other and instantly change the emotional color of the song without it sounding weird. And to really see how powerful this is, let's just zoom in on the very first note of our song, the note C. Okay, so how many different chords can you put underneath that one single C note? Well, there's the obvious stuff, right? C major or C minor. You could use A minor, where C is the 3rd, or F major 7, where it's the 5th. But then you can start to get really creative. You could use an A bat major 7, or get real jazzy with something like an A7 flat 9. The point is, for just one note, the creative possibilities are absolutely massive. This is the arranger's playground. Okay, so choosing new chords is huge. But a great arrangement isn't just about the what, it's about the how. The texture, the style, this is what gives your arrangement its actual personality. Let's just look at 2 completely different styles. You could go for a bluesy, folk rock vibe. You do this by taking simple triad shapes and just sliding them around over a steady bass note. It gives you that kind of James Taylor sound. Or you could go in a totally different direction with a gospel feel. The absolute trademark of gospel music is that amen chord progression, moving from the 4 chord to the 1 chord. It's soulful, it feels like a final resolution. See? Same melody, 2 totally different worlds. All right, now we're getting to the really good stuff. We've got our main chords picked out, but how do we get from one to the other without it sounding clunky? This right here is the secret sauce that makes an arrangement sound professional. This is it. This is your toolkit. These are all the different ways you can travel from one chord to another, say from a C chord to an F chord. These are the hammers and wrenches in our shop class. You could use the standard traditional C7 chord, or you could use a jazzy F-sharp 7 for a more sophisticated sound. Or my favorite, the backdoor progression, which gives you this amazing uplifting feeling. Each one is a different road to the same place, and each one creates a totally different journey. And check this out. It shows just how small these changes can be. On the left, that's a C7 chord, a really common way to walk up to an F chord. Now look at the right, that's an E diminished 7 chord. The only difference is one single note has moved up by a half step. But that one tiny change completely transforms the flavor. It makes it more suspenseful, more surprising, all from moving one finger. And let's just zoom in on that backdoor resolution for a second, because this one is like a magic trick. Instead of coming from the chord you expect, it sneaks in from, well, the back door. The effect is this incredible emotional lift, like the clouds suddenly parting on a bright sunny day. Once you hear it, you'll start noticing it everywhere in great pop and jazz music. So we built up our toolkit, we've seen the concepts, now let's go out into the wild and see how all this stuff is used in a real-world, iconic pop song. First, we've got to adjust our thinking. In a lot of music, the goal is to build tension and then have a big, satisfying resolution. But in funk and pop, the goal is different. It's not about ending the journey. It's about keeping the party going. The harmony is designed to loop to keep you on the dance floor. Let's take Michael Jackson's Rock With You. That incredible groove is built on a really simple loop. It all starts right here on this beautiful, lush E minor 9 chord. This is home base. This sets the whole cool, relaxed vibe for the song. Now, from that home base, you'd think it would move to a chord that wants to resolve. But it doesn't. It goes to this, an A flat 7 sus 4. These sus chords, they have this floaty, unresolved feeling. They're just kind of hanging in the air, which is perfect for a groove that never wants to end. And the loop finishes on, you guessed it, another suspended chord, a B flat 7 sus 4. So instead of a big, strong resolution back home, this chord just gently nudges you right back to the beginning of the loop. The whole progression is this brilliant little machine designed to cycle forever and keep you locked in that groove. So there you have it. We've taken the engine apart, we've seen how reharmonization and style can turn Twinkle Twinkle Little Star into something beautiful, and how those exact same ideas create the groove in a funk classic. So the only real question left is, what's a simple song that you love? And now that you have the tools, how could you make it uniquely your own?